So, there's this kind of message or text message that you get from your friends or family that can be quite scary. Usually it's from friends and family. And it goes something like this. It starts this way. Hi, how are you? Long time no see. And then it ends with, can you lend me some money? A small loan, small only. And then it tugs at your heartstrings, right? You feel a sense of obligation because you know this person. Your heart says yes, but then your gut tells you, you better be careful, you better be cautious. Is this the right thing to do? Can you trust this person? We like to think that a handshake or a text message is enough of a binding contract that says, okay, I'll lend you this money and you will pay me back because I know you, right? But what happens when that money that you lent doesn't come back? Welcome back to the Money Talks podcast. I'm Andrea Heng. Now, lending money to someone you know or love is a real moral battle. Joining me today to help us navigate this legal and emotional journey and the risks involved in lending someone you know a whole bunch of money is Ang Boon Yaw. He's a family lawyer at the Yeo Marini Law Corporation. Welcome to the podcast, Boon Yaw.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Okay, so golden question number one.
Yes.
The last time you lent someone money, did you get it back?
Unfortunately, no.
Alamak. Okay, so first of all, how much was this loan?
Just a few hundred.
Okay.
A few hundred.
And you didn't get it back?
I didn't get it back.
Okay.
So I personally myself, I have a ground rule for myself.
Okay.
I will not lend money to friends.
Okay.
Because I don't want to spoil the relationship. I always felt that once you lend money out to relative or friends, the relationship will be at a different tone. If I ever lend, which is the previous case, I will take it as a write-off.
Right. So you actually lend money to friends and family, depending on the quantum. Of course, with the understanding that you're never going to see it again.
Yes.
So how do people react when you tell them, sorry lah, I can't lend you this money. I have a lot of expenses going on at home.
I don't think people will usually push.
Okay.
I mean, they will say, oh, look, how about you take it like as an investment or whatever. That's another level.
Okay.
So usually I do have clients that came. I do see cases where, at first they say, just treat it as a loan. So when the loan doesn't materialize, then they say, well, how about you treat it like an investment here and there.
Wow.
Then or maybe you can charge me as higher interest rate. So these are all red flags that you have to be careful.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to be firm and say no.
Even if it means that relationship is lost forever, right?
I do think that if you say no, maybe the relationship will still continue.
Oh, really?
The likelihood of saying yes, that's where the case where that's the downfall of the relationship,
right,
when the payment doesn't come in.
So in your experience, saying yes to lending that person money more often than not results in the downfall of that relationship versus saying no to that person.
Unless you have the mindset that, look, once I lend this money, I'm prepared that this money is written off.
Right, which is your mantra.
Then it will not be that bad.
So is there ever a safe way to lend money to a family member or a friend?
I think there will always be risks involved. So the question will be at what level level of risk that you are taking. So firstly depending on the quantum.
Yes. Okay.
So is it a few hundred, a few thousands,
and you
or
must be comfortable with that quantum?
Yes, correct. Then if it's a small amount, like just a few hundred, maybe you just take it as good, do the transfer. Last thing you want to do is just give in cash, so you don't have any trace. So if you do a PayLah, PayNow, or bank transfer, at least you have some record.
Right.
So
but is that record enough?
It is sufficient in some way, depending on the quantum and how much documentation you want to prepare.
Right.
So usually I usually encourage my clients that once it hit in thousands, try to have a simple IOU.
Okay.
You don't need to have a 20-page IOU. Just
so
have
what
a simple.
would a basic IOU between friends and family members look like?
So
I take foolscap paper.
Foolscap paper, just name, IC number.
Okay.
You talk about the quantum that you lend and what will be the repayment period start. So there's something that is important.
Right.
So the IOU will avoid you say I say situation.
Everything is clear and documented. So on this IOU, both parties' details need to be there, the loan amount, the repayment period, and the repayment amount, etc. Same as you would with the bank, essentially, without the interest. Unless you want the interest lah.
So it's not saying that you can't charge the interest. Okay. You can charge the interest, but you got to make sure that the interest is something that's reasonable. Maybe 1-2%, 3%. The last thing you want is I do came across that the interest can be up to 20%.
20%? That's almost like a loan shark, isn't it?
Yes, so there's something that you got to be very careful. You may not get your money back because of the high interest rate. Okay. So of course that will depend on situation. So this is where you got to be very careful. You got to make sure that your interest, if you charge interest, you got to be very, very reasonable. Okay. So that's one. Okay. Two is you got to be very careful when, as we mentioned before, when they say, oh, this is a loan, then from that loan you elevate to how about
an
investment, something that is as good as you park your money as a fixed deposit or whatever. That's where things start to head towards a different direction.
Right.
So you got to be very careful about it. Make sure that the interest rate is kept at a very reasonable thing.
What's the highest amount you've seen among your clientele in terms of this friends, family lending money thing? And I mean, what's the worst situation?
Oh, a client of mine who lent his friend up to 230,000. A single friend, and the interesting
pure cash,
230,000, and the ironic bit is he lent to two friends around that period, so that is close to $500,000.
Okay,
in cash,
Why did he do that? It's a lot of money.
So this individual is, he's very
he's a stand-up guy.
Very straightforward guy. You tell me you need money, I lend you. So he also expect that the other party to return him when the time is due.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with COVID, then they say they couldn't meet up. Then they extend the period here and there. So it just snowballed.
Oh wow!
Snowball. So unfortunately, even for his case, he commenced the action. Although they managed to settle it, but the amount was quite far away from the original sum.
Wow! So as the money lender, or maybe not, let's not call them money lenders because that's a different group of people altogether, but casual, personal lenders of money, right? When you're lending your cash, there's a lot of vulnerability that you're exposing yourself to.
Yes. So you must always have the mindset that if you lend, make sure that the amount is something that you can able to write off. Because even if you are going to pursue legal action against you, for example, you start with LOD.
What's a LOD?
A letter of demand.
Okay.
Subsequently, we commence the action against the borrower. The issue is, even if you win, you win the case, the court award you a favorable judgment. It's just a judgment. Ultimately, you got to enforce it. You got to continue to spend legal money spend money on the legal aspect to chase the money. And I always tell my clients, try not to spend good money chasing after bad money. And also, sometimes you just got to let go, spend the resources and time and money on proper things that can generate you back, that to cover back your loss, rather than continue to drown into it. If that borrower got no money to pay, there's nothing you can do.
Correct.
So don't spend good money chasing after bad money.
Yeah, I think that's a really good piece of advice also. If someone wants to borrow $500, I can stomach it, but at the same time, I also want to cover my bases. I mean, is $500 worth having an IOU written out and going through all this trouble, the paperwork and all that? And then sometimes you have this paperwork it also puts a little bit of a hurdle in that friendship or relationship also, right? I mean, is it worth it? $500?
So if you want to avoid that IOU, what you need to make sure is first is don't make that transfer via cash.
Okay.
Do it via bank payment.
Always have a digital footprint lah.
Digital footprint. So that's number one. So that will avoid the I say you say whatever.
Okay.
So in terms of transaction, this is proven that there's a transaction that take place.
Would it also be a good tip to put in the remarks of your PayNow transfer
That's
loan
also one.
to at so and so?
The other thing is you can have that conversation captured in your WhatsApp.
Screen grab.
Yeah, so you have a screenshot or in terms of like, oh, I borrow this money.
Okay.
Or you may not be an IOU.
Okay.
It's not in the form of IOU, but
Sure.
but you have that conversation that took place. And look, I borrow this money from
Okay.
you. I lend this
It's
money.
evidence, basically.
And that is good enough for small amount. Although you may not want to go so far to pursue it, but at least you know that if you want to pursue, you have some good evidence or ground for you to do that.
Okay. What if that friend who borrows your money just doesn't message you anymore? Gives you the cold shoulder, or as the Gen Zs call it, ghosts you. And I've had that happen, and I just gave up lah. I mean, again, the quantum was quite low, it was $100, but at the time I was also in school. $100 is a lot to a poly
Yes,
student,
yes.
right? So in the adult world, I guess, obviously the quantums might be higher. But that friend just doesn't message you back anymore. So what do you do? Is there a legal recourse for me in that situation?
The answer is yes, you can. There is definitely avenue for you to pursue.
But that costs money,
but
right?
that costs money, and looking at the quantum, your costs easily outweigh the quantum. It's not worth to pursue it.
Okay.
So end of the day, you just have to move on. Unfortunately, yes, there's avenue, but it's not worth.
Yeah,
pursuing
I agree. The next step, yes, the judge can rule in your favor, like you said.
The enforcement bit.
Enforcement also costs money. Having the
Yes.
bailiff costs money involved,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
I think the question you posed to us is correct, right? Is it worth spending more money to chase after that bad money?
Yeah.
It has to be worth the while, right? So you mentioned something earlier about a letter of demand, LOD. It seems like quite a drastic measure. So is there like an in-between? So for example, earlier you said, so I guess the low end of the spectrum, or one end of the spectrum rather, is you are prepared to write it off.
Yes.
The other end of the spectrum is you pursue it legally and then you get a letter of demand, etc. Is there like an in-between?
So in between, you can start off with trying to contact the person to reach a settlement,
Okay.
and then settlement in a form where probably you get in the middle between the payment. For example, maybe it's a 1,000 or 2,000, just 50%
Okay.
off.
Give you discount.
Give you discount. So great Singapore sale. Then you have a great discount. You
Yeah.
have a big discount, and then party can move on.
Okay.
So that's one. If not, another way could be, even if you issue the letter of demand, not necessarily you have to commence the suit immediately after that.
Oh.
You can state in that letter of demand where party can meet up on a without prejudice meeting
Okay.
to resolve
Okay.
the matter.
Right. So it's just an indicator or like a milestone in the situation.
And it's also good to let both party meet up.
Okay.
Meet up, and then you can then negotiate, and also to better understand the other side. So I do have situation where the debtors are very responsive. The moment the creditor say, "Hey, look, I want to know what's the status," the debtor update the status. Sometimes the debtor keep missing the timeline. But the thing is, the moment you message them, within that very day, they will sure reply.
Okay.
They will tell you, "Sorry, I can't pay today, but I have this challenge that I'm facing, but let me do something." So maybe the due payment is even if it's installment payment, by right, you got to probably do like maybe 2K a month, for example. Then they say, "Oh, by right, I got to pay 2K, but let me at least pay 500. Pay something."
Okay.
So as long as you are constantly in communication, of course, the creditor is not going to be happy that look the payment gets snowball or this, but as long as you don't ghost on the creditor, continue to engage in that communication, make some payment, at least make some payment. At least the party can understand where it's coming from.
Because it's a show of commitment to repaying the loan, right?
Even if you can't meet that agreed, at least show something. Yes, you may, the other party may not be happy, but at least we can see the effort. You can't see as there's this saying, when you cannot deliver the result, at least show effort, right?
Yeah. A for effort. They don't call it A for effort for nothing. But I think the takeaway that I'm getting from you here is, maintain that line of communication. The last thing you want to do is put the lender or the creditor in this case in a position where, first of all, it's awkward to have to chase you for money.
Yes.
Second of all, I have to, I don't need this extra stress of thinking when this repayment is going to be made.
Yes.
Because I have my own bills to think about also, right?
Yes.
So I think it's one less thing to worry about, even though it may not be the most favorable, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I lent my best friend money more than 6 years ago and I haven't seen a single cent returned, is my debt basically uncoverable? Meaning, that's it, end of story, I cannot chase anymore.
So basically, that's where you got to commence a suit within that 6 years.
Right. So after 6 years, no chance.
Yes.
Okay.
So that will be a defense by the debtor.
Oh, because in their minds, you had 6 years to chase after the money and you didn't.
Didn't.
Right. Okay. So, but you must, I guess, as the lender, you must within those 6 years either pursue legal proceedings.
Yes.
Or would me chasing after the money during these 6 years, would that be counted also?
No, you got to commence a legal proceeding.
Oh, okay.
So that's one. Two is also the other party may say that you probably will have written it off. After the 6 years period. And there's also that's a very important bit. The next bit is you also want to ensure that look, it's not a gift. So that's where the IOU come in very handy.
I see. Okay, I understand now. So let's talk about the legal process here, right? I have to commence a case. It is, if I don't have money to afford that legal proceeding, that legal recourse, right? Because I already lent all this money to my friend. So I have nothing left for myself to go and hire a lawyer, for example. Is small claims tribunal somewhere we would go?
So for small claim tribunal, you can't hire a lawyer.
Yes.
So the quantum will be at 20K.
Yes.
If both parties agree, it can go up to 30K.
Okay.
But provided both parties agree. And of course, it's how you present your case without the lawyer.
Okay.
Then again, having said that, that is not like a fix-all platform.
Okay.
As mentioned before, the tribunal can award you the judgment in your favor. But the next question is, how do you get the money back?
Yeah.
So you will still face a similar route where you got to, if the other party are not willing to pay, you have to go through enforcement, seizure. Is it worth it, the time? That's one. And not forgetting that when you go through small claim tribunal, you also have to spend time.
Yeah.
And the mental torture, especially for laymen to go through that legal process, it takes a lot from the individual.
Yeah, it's not just a financial burden, it's a mental and emotional toll, right?
Yes, correct. So sometimes I do give, looking at the quantum, sometimes I do advise my client that, hey, look, given that this amount of quantum, why don't you just move on, spend your resources, your time, your money on something that is more meaningful and can generate a lot better return, to look at whatever you have lent as a loss.
Yeah.
Look at a loss and how you recover that loss through things that can generate a better return.
So when you give them this advice, how do they normally react?
So sometimes they have that natural justice. They just feel,
I've been wronged.
I lent out money, then the relationship turns sour. Everything goes back for me.
I mean, it's hard to come out of that, right?
So sometimes I do believe that sometimes we just got to give clients space. Sometimes you just got to tell client the brutal truth of it, and also give some counseling.
Yeah.
I hear you, you know.
But what happens if they insist on pursuing it legally?
Sometimes you got to give clients some time. I always give my clients my 2 cents worth, and then I always tell my clients, no rush for you to get back to me. You can get back to me by end of today or even tomorrow, or you need a week. You need more time over the weekend. Then you get back to me.
Right.
And time is always a very good so-called recourse, because sometimes you're at the heat of moment.
Yeah.
You just feel that this is so unjust, you know.
Yeah.
So you may not make a rational decision, but when someone give you that certain advice from a different perspective, but after a while you rethink, when you are not so heated up, then you will think, okay, is it worth it?
Yeah.
You know. Then sometimes I also have this reminder, you know. I said you can think over the weekend, but I just want to also remind you that if you go this route, the legal cost is also this certain amount that you have to prepare. So sometimes the legal cost can also balance ones out.
When they see, this is the bill I have to pay to chase after this money.
Yeah, so not really worth it.
So after you counsel them with all this, most of the time they do back down?
I wouldn't say that they will totally back down. They are more willing to bend a bit backward. Okay, so for example, they said, maybe 10K. They say, okay, maybe if they pay me 7K, I'm prepared to let go.
Okay.
So that gives you some room to negotiate or maneuver, and from there you can always have an installment plan. And sometimes you also, as I said, without prejudice meeting or mediation, you want to hear the other side of the borrower's story or the situation where the borrower is facing. Sometimes you can be a bit more compassionate in that. Okay, I hear you, you know. Then
which goes back to our point on communication, right?
Yes, communication.
Yeah.
So sometimes don't ghost. Really, if you can't pay, don't ghost. Keep that communication open.
Okay, so if you had, I know where you stand when it comes to lending money. Your personal mantra is, no, I do not lend friends and family any money. And if I do lend a small amount or the quantum that I'm comfortable with, I'm prepared to write it off. What's your final piece of advice to someone who may be watching or listening to this and thinking about lending money to someone who's really in need? And that person has asked, of course. Someone in the lender's, would-be lender's position. What's your final piece of advice?
Always make sure that there is evidence, be it screenshot of the bank of the transfer, or screenshot of the conversation. If you really need that, you really feel that you need an IOU, you can do a simple IOU, have it in place. Even if you decided that, no, I'm not going to pursue at the end of the day, but have it in place so that when things go sour, at least you have an avenue to pursue it. But having said that, sometimes things may not go your way. And
you have to be prepared for that.
Yes.
For the loss and for things just not working out.
Yeah. So you must always work out the risk,
Yeah.
the level of risk. What are the level of risks that you are willing to accept?
Boon Yaw, this was a really useful episode, and I'm glad that we were able to chat with you about it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here.
For all these tips and tricks and what not to do also. I'll think twice about lending someone money now. Not that I have a lot. Please don't come for me. And thank you, our Money Talks community, for tuning in as always. Now, I have a question that I want to leave with you. Have you ever lent money to a friend or a family member and then you kind of regretted it? Or did it actually make that relationship stronger, right? Like Boon Yaw said, there's still hope. You can still have that relationship after the dust has settled. Let us know by commenting on whichever platform or medium you're listening or watching us from. You can also write to us directly at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. We welcome any episode ideas as well. You can just head over to email us at cnapodcast@mediacorp.com.sg. I'm Andrea Heng, and I'm signing off for the Money Talks podcast.